Shema everyone, it's JonnyVR here back with another Doctor Who review, and I just finished watching the Interstellar Song Contest. Now, as always, the first part of this review will be spoiler free, and then I'll go into spoiler details later on and give you a warning. But man, it's a big one. If you have not seen it, definitely go watch it as soon as possible and come back. Wow, so here's the spoiler free part. The Interstellar Song Contest is like the biggest episode of the season so far. It was revealed that it was actually the most expensive episode, and it shows like in the scale of it. It has high stakes, like really high stakes that drive the best sort of acting in Ncuti and Belinda. Man, what an episode this was. So basically, Juno Dawson, who wrote the script, like I've followed her writing since she did Doctor Who Redacted as audio for 2 seasons, and first go at writing an episode of Doctor Who and smashes it out of the park. Bring her back, like amazing episode. Like first of all, there's big reveals, like really really big reveals. So definitely watch this before it gets spoiled for you. More on that in the spoiler section. But like, what I was trying to think of when I was watching this episode is, does the episode stand on its own, like, or is it setting up finale which is coming up? Like, does it stand on its own? And then I was thinking, okay, what is the story of the Interstellar Song Contest in itself? And it's great. Like, it makes this huge high stakes story kind of separate from the finale, although it leads up to it, and it's phenomenal. I think to show something like so big and vast and high stakes is something that's kind of rare for Doctor Who in sort of a standalone episode. But it's incredible. You have the cast, like all of the guest cast and all their characters are very nicely filled out in character with their motives, and I thought it was really good. And the setting, like who'd have thought that for a setting like this, like a song contest, would make such a great episode of Doctor Who. And then here it is, and it's awesome. Like I really felt like it was like exciting, thrilling, shocking at points, and that's without all the reveals and cameos. I thought that what they had, or what they had shown, was really shocking. I was really shocked that they had shown something like so like mad and crazy like this. Yeah, I really loved this episode. As for the reveals, like, I have to go into spoiler. There's not much more I can say it, but besides the episode stands alone. It's an incredible high stakes story. Like when it's like save the day time, like it really feels like, okay, is it save the day? Can he do it? Is he out of his depth? This kind of thing, which is a side of the Doctor you've never seen before. Shows a side of the Doctor that we've only seen glimpses of before, and that's because of the situation, because of Juno Dawson's writing. And he just smashes it out of the park. You see interactions between the Doctor and Belinda that have not got to this level yet. So if this can be done in this episode, like who's to say what's going to happen in the finale? Strong set of characters. Production quality is incredible. Like really solid top quality episode for me. I cannot go into more without giving spoilers away, but here's your spoiler warning. Watch it, come back for the score at the end. So I had no idea it was going to be something like this, but like in first glance, when you open the episode, it's the year 2925. It's the 803rd Interstellar Song Contest. They wake up Rylan from being cryogenically frozen to be the host, and it sort of has this comedy and like tongue-in-cheek kind of thing that Doctor Who episodes do very well at times. And then you have the Doctor and Belinda landing to take their Vindicator reading, and you have Mrs. Flood. Okay, so Mrs. Flood appears early on in this episode, like, which again is different because like a lot of this times this season she's appeared like as a footnote at the end, but here she is in the beginning of the episode, and she's actually got more dialogue to say that's more important, I think, for the overall story, because she's like, oh, now he has done enough Vindicator readings, the time is now like to move. So that indicates that, okay, now it's time for the finale. And then you have this guy, Kid, who's from Hellion, and you have the broadcasting center. He, like, phase one is like everything sort of going a bit weird with these drones they have, these robots, and then he comes in and he's like, he's in control of it. Then he have also somebody who's from the same planet, Helia, who's in the broadcasting room, who's helping him out. And sort of this is all like happening very early on, like while Rylan is presenting the song contest. Phase two, the bubble like destroys. This Harmony Arena is on a space station, like, and this is established by the Doctor and Belinda, who say this space station with this massive sort of protection bubble. And then what happens is in phase two is that they total chaos, total widespread destruction, like borderline like massive terrorist event from this villain who pops the bubble, and like hundreds of thousands of people, like 100,000 people just like float off into space. Like when I saw that, I was like, wow, like devastation, like loss of life on that scale has rarely been presented like that in Doctor Who so vividly, like, and visually. It was really shocking. And then the Doctor gets pulled out. Belinda doesn't. She gets stuck in one of the pods, and a few other people, other characters, don't get sucked out because, like, for example, there's Mike and Gary who are late to the show and trying to get their tickets. You have Cora and her guard Len, who is like also stuck in or I imagine also in a pod or somewhere else. And you have the people in the broadcast center, like. And then for a lot of the episode, you have the Belinda thinking the Doctor is gone, and you have the Doctor thinking Belinda is gone, which again makes this amazing, like rarely has episodes like this where this happens, and then you get to see what happens when the Doctor realizes that his companion is dead. It's something that Ncuti's Doctor hasn't had so much so far. But he really takes to another level here. And like Juno Dawson, she knows how to write the Doctor like when he's going off the rails, because this was like shocking, to see his reaction, and to not both for Belinda, where he believes to be dead, and also for the villain who's trying to kill 3 trillion people. Like the next phase of his plan is to use a delta wave, which I appreciate the reference, because the delta wave was going to be used by the Doctor himself in the series 1 finale in 2005. So when they bring this back, you're kind of like, okay, this thing could wipe out all the Daleks. How are they going to use it now? And he's going to use it to wipe out all 3 trillion viewers of the song contest, because he has beef with it, because the corporation who runs it is like burning his planet, for this poppies, all for like honey flavoring. Like, so like that's the motive. He wants revenge. And man, what a chaos ensues, so basically for a lot of the episode you have the Doctor like not aware of Belinda is actually still alive, but like the Doctor I just thought this, okay, first cameo of the episode, the Doctor's in space freezing, and he has like these visions, and who should appear but Carol Ann Ford as the Doctor's granddaughter Susan. Like, I was shocked at this. I was not expecting this at all. And she's kind of in his head, like waking him up, and also she appears throughout the episode in little glimpses to kind of regulate the Doctor, like telling him to stop when he's going too far. And here, I mean, there was hints that they would bring back his granddaughter, because like even in the last season, like they started talking more about his granddaughter a lot. But when that didn't happen last season, I didn't think it was going to happen this season. But here she is, appearing sort of in a TARDIS, like sending messages. And I thought this was like so Doctor Who, when it's like, okay, he's in space, massive cameo, like maybe she will return next week, who knows, but massive reveal of Carol Ann Ford as Susan again, and then the Doctor gets out by using the confetti cannon through. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was so Doctor Who. So that's how he gets back onto the space station, meets Gary and Mike. Meanwhile, Cora, Belinda, and Len are trying to like break through doors and things. That's where he discovers the Delta Wave is going to be used. They all chat with Kid and Wynn, who's the other Hellion in on this. And then the Doctor goes about being the Doctor, doing the computing stuff that he needs to do to save the day. And I think that like once he's on the path, he's on the path. Like they send drones after him, and he just like destroys them instantly with the sonic. Like once he's on the path, like to in his mind, like nothing is stopping him. I did think it was convenient that Gary and Mike, who are very influential in the end, as someone who can work with holograms and someone who's like a medic, are like the two things that are most needed, and they just happen to be that. But again, they make very compelling characters as a couple, and in the saving of the day. So once basically the Doctor gets to the broadcast room, you have him going nuts on Kid the Hellion, and I'm like we've seen this rarely in the Doctor before. It's not something that's used a lot, because it could be overused. But in a situation like this, where he's seen like 100,000 people float off into space, and he sees like 3 trillion about to be killed, and he thinks Belinda is gone, he's like another level of fury from Ncuti's Doctor. It's probably the most darkest side of Ncuti's Doctor that we've seen, as he begins to kind of torture Kid, this was it's like, as a viewer, it's hard to watch the Doctor go to that level, and that's when I know like you've gone to that level of emotion, like that level of rage, like you feel it as a viewer then. And I just thought it was amazing. Then you have like Cora, who's again this character who's one of the singers in the song contest, who reveals that like she doesn't have this kind of preconception of the Hellions, because she is a Hellion, which again is this subtle storyline about like people prejudging somebody based on where they're from. Yes, that doesn't like justify their actions, because they were going to kill a lot of people, but like they put together all the Hellions in one. Even Len, like the person who she's with, as soon as he realizing that she actually is a Hellion, but she cut off her horns, like he changes completely with her, like, and that's like an underlying story that's definitely handled, and I thought that was like really really powerful. Then there's this whole thing. Okay, so when the Doctor realizes that Belinda is alive, he kind of can compose himself a bit. Even Susan appears in his head to compose himself, and then they start to save the day, because like way back when the people floated off into space, he was able to preserve them in this like gravity bubble, which shows like some very quick thinking. And then you have like, okay, the drones are back, and they take Kid and Wynn off into custody, with a kind of a "you'll see me again, Doctor" kind of thing. I wonder if he will return. And then he thinks about Rylan being cryogenically frozen, and he wants to pull in Rylan with a tractor beam, and then revive him with the pod, like using both Gary and Mike's sort of expertise. And then they were like, it worked. Can you do it 100,000 times? And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so like that's so funny. It's both funny and awesome at the same time because like yes, you have to do it so many times, but like it if that's the way to save the day, then that's the way to save the day. And they don't show this, but they do a montage of them doing it over and over and over again. Then they start using the booths in the arena as bigger pods to do more and more groups of people. Eventually, they get people back, and then you have the final singer. Given the circumstances, which is Cora, who decides to sing a song about her home planet. And I thought at this point, like the emotion in the episode reaches like a really high point as everyone's watching this like heartfelt, haunting song about the planet, and they show like scenes of what is being done to the planet. I just thought that like at this point I was like, wow, this song contest episode is really hitting like all of the right notes, if you excuse the pun. Then you have like after this, the Doctor and Bernard are leaving. They have the Vindicator readings like all complete. But when they say about Earth, you have Graham Norton appearing as a hologram, who's saying to them about Earth's history and how it was destroyed in a single second. May 24th, 2025 was the date that happened. Unknown cause. So then, of course, they need to go save the day. They put the they fly back, the TARDIS goes red, the cloister bell's ringing, and what happens is the TARDIS kind of explodes from the outside in, like, and that's where the episode ends, or does it? Because then you have a post-credit scene, which comes the reveal that I think everyone was waiting for. The last person to be revived was Mrs. Flood. She was the last person to be revived from space, also flying off into space. And she says this is fatal for a time lady. So then we reveal she's a time lady, and she starts to regenerate. But then she bigenerates, so the second bigeneration we see now. And she reveals that she is the Rani, which, again, to be honest, I thought this was one of the options. Like, people had picked up on this. I'm not sure if this leaked because I didn't see any of the leaks, but people had been picking this up like since the end of season 1, when she appeared in the clothes of other companions, or that were looking very much like other companions. So I think people had picked up that this was one theory. So it wasn't such a big like surprise, because it was like, okay, that was one option, but still it was a great reveal. And now you have two Ranis, a Rani and the Rani, because they bigenerated. Let's see what happens. Let's see what unfolds in the 2-part finale. But like, again, another classic villain that has not returned is now returned, and I love that, because it's like they could do, like, when it was before this era, they had redone the Master, a couple of times. They were always redoing the Daleks, and now since the revival, we've had like Sutek come back, we've had something like the Midnight Creature come back, and now we've had the Rani. Like, it's like the Doctor Who history is ripe for villains, like, and now they're choosing like villains that we haven't seen in a long time to come back, and in the modern sort of show. And I really appreciate that. Like, they could have done the Master again, but that would have been like done before. Now let's see what happens, and with this modern version of a new character. But I thought this episode was amazing, like, not just like with the big reveals that it has and the cameos, that's for the finale, but the Interstellar Song Contest as an episode, as an event, was top quality. I really like this episode. The emotional stakes, the high stakes, the saving the day, like the characters with all their compelling motives and stuff like that. For me, this is a 9 out of 10 like episode. So let me know what you guys think. Finale is coming, so do click like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know all your comments, all your theories. I will respond to all of them. And with all that said and done, I will see you for Wishworld next week. Bye.